Yeah, it's good. Okay, hi, Matt. I've watched you, not necessarily like all of your videos and not necessarily regularly, but I've been aware of your channel and I've been, aware of your perspective for a while. I respect it and, I consider it mature and whatnot. You are a few years older than me, but regardless, I'm responding to basically your video about cognition or cognitive thought in the flesh. The idea that we are aspects of nature, reality. We are phenomena, and we are not what we think we are. We are what we are, but we aren't what we think we are. This is stuff that I've talked about recently, and so it's pretty close to my mind already. So it's stuff that I'm interested in talking about. I think that as far as the whole idea of evolution and its progress towards greater complexity, isn't it interesting that it innately draws us not only closer to the nothing that is the ultimate foundation, the ultimate openness to creation and complexification, which is space, the subjective consciousness, and all of the observable physical figures. The equations of physics don't exist locally or temporally. They exist in the subjective space as well as consciousness and space itself. They are nowhere, and therefore they are everywhere and in everything. Okay, so this evolution progressively gets us farther from this absolute, and yet at the same time integrates us with it. This perception of consciousness and this image that we experience constantly, it is taken for granted, and in that way we are drawn further away from that realization. And in fact, death to an animal is completely disregarded, whereas the closer we get to this logical thinking and this consciousness, the more we become, and I mean it in the same way you do. I have no egoic way of thinking or whatever. The whole notion of ego to me is dead and gone as far as I'm concerned. I look at it as like a character in a video game at this point practically, but of course it's not as distant or whatever. I love the character that I am experiencing, but I love it like a parent loves a child. But the whole idea is this consciousness is constantly taken for granted and therefore ignored, or disinterest is applied to it. So this evolution is getting us closer to and yet farther away at the same time. The journey, or the challenge that we are therefore given by this great power, this great gift, is this journey towards discovering the nature of this consciousness. And this has been going on for thousands of years. And I think more and more as we get into the future, this enlightenment will become more and more common because of the interconnectedness that we'll have. But I feel at the same time it's possible and it's evident that we may become more and more detached from one another at the same time, which will be very possibly detrimental. I have my views on evolution as far as I believe in the chaos theory and things like that having to do with evolution, and the fact that it goes in the small little changes in it, events and or the small little changes result in great leaps eventually. And that has, the Mandelbrot set, I'm sure you're aware of, gives evidence of that as well. I think that as far as the whole philosophy thing is concerned, I think it's one of those things where we try to grasp at the intangibility of our existence. We try to figure that which we try to run the race, and the reality is we're already at the finish line. That's the reality. We already are the miracle, as it were. We already are the result of this reality, and because of that, we can automatically come to the conclusion that we exist as these phenomena which are beyond comprehension. I am incomprehensible, you are incomprehensible, but the love of life, the love of reality, is the acceptance of it. But acceptance takes a certain amount of understanding, a certain amount of knowledge. If you don't, you can't accept something if you know nothing about it. I guess. So, yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to say. You're very articulate and whatnot. I hope to have more correspondence with you as far as these videos are concerned, because you're someone, I think, that has intellectual pull, gravitas, and I think that we should become friends. We should become friends, YouTube-wise. Alright, yes, that's all I have to say. Goodbye.